everyone, Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters. So for this layout I am using the beautiful Midnight collection from Cocoa Vanilla. I just loved this wood grain paper and I set myself the challenge that I wanted to try and use pretty much every single frame that came in the pack, because I find frames are really tricky to use. Some of them are a good size and they actually can frame a photo, but I find a lot of them don't end up being a useful size for me. So the amazing Melinda Sweetman linked me up with one of her YouTube videos where she was using the frames, and that was really inspiring. And I also got onto Pinterest and had a look at the Cocoa Vanilla design team, and I found a couple of layouts that I pulled inspiration from. So definitely Melinda's helped me out here, but I also got some ideas and design concepts from a couple of the other ladies as well, and I didn't unfortunately keep the names of the people I checked out, so I can't be specific. I'm sorry, I really would love to give them credit, but just check out the design team over at Cocoa Vanilla and I'm sure you will see the ones that look similar to what I am doing. So I really loved this wood grain piece and I loved that pink paper, but I already used it in a different layout, so I didn't feel so bad using the wood grain side this time. But I thought it would be a little bit busy once I put all of, because I want to use all of those frames there on the right. So once I use all of those, I thought, oh, this is going to be too much on the wood grain. I know it's not a massive pattern, but there's a lot going on. So I decided I would put this little white sort of strip there, and that's going to be where I focus pretty much all of the work that's going to happen on this page. So all of the frames, all of the photo, it's all going to happen up there on that strip. And the main title is called Jump, and there's just a little mini title as well that's going to come up with the photos. So I already have pre-prepared that, and I've already pre-prepared my photos and mini title as well, just to get myself a little bit organized because there's a lot going on. If you can hear anything in the background, I apologize. Daddy is reading to Mr. 3-year-old, and it must be a very exciting book because they're having a lovely old time. So, not a lot to tell you. I'm just gluing on all of my frames using the Tombo's Mono Quick Dry Glue. I would skip through this, and I probably should skip through this, but it's kind of the whole process of how I layer all my frames on. So I do believe some of the bits I'm using are actually like scrap, or kind of like the packaging inside of the frame. Like that really little tiny one, I think went in the middle of one of the frames, and it probably could have been thrown away, but you know, I love a challenge, like that one as well. I love a challenge, and I'd set myself this goal of trying to use every single frame, so I'm going to do the best that I can. So I'm going to show you just this little process here. I'm putting tiny little bits of foam on this one to stick it up so it's up a little bit higher. And once I do this particular frame, then I am going to jump ahead and you'll see a little bit more of the finished product, just because, I don't know, I know I just said that this is the whole process, and it really is, but I think it's a little bit boring. You might not think so, so I'm sorry if you really wanted to watch how I stick it all down. But I'm using ephemera pieces that I'm gluing with the mono glue. I'm using chipboard that's already sticky, so it's just getting stuck straight on. And then some of the paper pieces are getting stuck elevated using foam. So I'm just going to jump forward a little bit. I won't completely cut it all out, but I'm just going to jump forward a little bit so you can see the next little step. Okay, so I am back. I have glued on all of my actual frames, and now I am collecting some gold, coral and navy Heidi Shine or Heidi Swap Color Shine. And I'm shaking that up, and I'm going to splash that across the white band where all of the frames have been placed. So I just thought that would add a nice little bit of, I don't know, texture, a nice little bit of colour, interest up across there. It's sort of a bit of a crazy looking layout as it is, so I just thought I'd love to add a little bit of extra colour to the background. I especially love that navy colour. It looks really dark in the bottle. It looks almost black in the bottle. In fact, I can't really tell it apart from my black unless I read the label. But once you splash it on and let it dry, it is the most divine colour. It is really, really similar to that sort of purpley navy coloured frame that's in the top right of the page as it is. So really beautiful, beautiful colour, which I love. And then the gold. I think I put gold on everything. Now that I've got that silver that I got in my advent calendar though, I have been using the silver a fair bit too. I love silver, so now I'm torn. So I just let that dry, and you can see next to my scissors, I've still got a few little bits and bobs there that I want to use. Those are the sort of the packaging that goes around the shapes that came in the die cuts, like the love heart shapes and things like that. I want to try and include those in the layout if I can, though they are a little bit more like rubbish, but you know, in the interest of using everything. So I'm just getting my photos organized. I've backed my photos, or matted my photos on paper, and I've got my little mini subheading already organized there, as I mentioned earlier. So it says number 1, get, number 2, ready, number 3, get, and then number 4, set. So get 1, get 2, ready, 3, get, 4, set, jump is the heading. I don't think you'd really read the 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm going to use the little shape cutouts, there you can see the circle one and the love heart one, to sort of highlight that subheading area, because I'm worried that the subheading's going to get just a little bit lost in and amongst all the different frames and the things that are going on. So once I've done that, I pull out the rest of the ephemera pack, and then I start having to think about how I can embellish this layout. Now, there's a lot happening in this layout, so I know I don't want to over-embellish it. It's very busy already, but it needs something. It can't just be, in my brain, it can't just be frames and shapes. It needs to have a little bit of something else happening. So I'm just having a look to see what can I do to sort of, I don't know, add a little bit of prettiness there, but not overpower it with the rest of what's going on. So if you have this Cocoa Vanilla collection, it is gorgeous, you will already know. I don't think I've ever seen a Cocoa Vanilla collection that I didn't love. I have had More Than Words, which I loved. I've had The Boys Rule, which I loved. I've had, you know, the one I haven't really used, Bohemian Dreams. It's not because I didn't love it. I did love it. It was just before I really knew how to utilize my kit and how I really knew how to get the most out of my kit. So I've really only just now started to make layouts with it, and I'm really excited that I've started to do that because I love that collection as well. Honestly, I don't think I've ever met a Cocoa Vanilla collection that I didn't love. I'm really excited for the Happiness collection that's coming out soon. Yes, I can't wait till I get that in one of my kits. And yeah, whoa, sorry, that was a little car that fell on the floor. And we will get playing with that one soon too. It's just incredible what one woman can design. Like she's such a small, for such a big company, it's such a small, you know, a group of people that work on it. You know, she designs it all, she prints it all, she, you know, between her and her husband, they just create the whole lot, which is just incredible. I just think that's amazing. Anyway, back to the layout that I'm actually working on here. So I'm just popping on the few embellishments I decided to use, and as I said to you, I knew I didn't want too many. I wanted to keep it fairly minimal. I'm still utilizing that mono glue, and I will definitely need to get more of that because I've almost run out. I'm actually not even sure where to buy that in Australia, so if anyone knows, please let me know. Why is it so silly that our hobby is so expensive? All of our supplies are so expensive these days. Like, you can't buy glue, you can't buy adhesive, you can't buy the stuff that you need to actually be able to do your photos, let alone print your photos and all of that. It's all so expensive. Sorry, I'm playing with a little chubby checker here in the background. I have had this layout on my desk to voice over since before Christmas. This is not a joke. Before Christmas, I've had this layout created, and it is just impossible to find time to actually voice over these days because there is always one of my two boys awake and needing me. So I chose this time because I've got my little 5-monther awake and needing me, but he's very quiet, and so he doesn't know not to shout out and make loud noises while I'm talking on my voiceover. I have had to, you've probably noticed, stop and start this voiceover about 4 times because my 3-year-old needs me as well. Have you noticed that they always have those memes on TV or on YouTube or on Facebook or wherever you are, where the small child walks past the father to go and get something from the mother. Like, you know, the mum's on the toilet and the dad's just sitting there watching TV. And the small child walks past the dad, goes to the mum and says, "Mum, I need a drink." I always laughed at those, knowing they were real, but, you know, ha ha, how funny. Oh my God, they are so real. Why can't Daddy do it, darling? No, you have to. So it's not even that Daddy doesn't want to in my case. It's that little small 3-year-old insists that Mummy does it. No, you do it. Oh, I love them. I love them. And I really don't want them to grow up any quicker. But sometimes I secretly want them to just be a little bit more bigger. Especially when this 5-month-old decided, I think yesterday I got 4 hours sleep and the day before I got 4 hours sleep interrupted. So I would love him to be a little bit bigger and to sleep a little bit better. That would be good. But then they look at you and they smile and you just forget everything else again. And you're happy with world again. Isn't that why we have them? Alright, rambling on about my small children. Apologies. So, I am now sticking on the last little bits and bobs. So I've done the ephemera, which I'm really quite happy with. I even got one of those flare buttons on, which I find really hard to use because they're so bulky. It's not that they're not pretty, they're just bulky. So I'm always hesitant to use those. And so popping up my photos with foam, I nearly always pop my photos up with foam. I really love the look that that gives because it kind of sets them apart from the rest of the layout. The layout sort of fades into the background a little bit, and let's be honest, it never fades away because there's so much going on. But it sort of says, hey, look, there are photos on here that you're supposed to see, which I think is the point. And so I'm sticking those on with foam and then just sticking the alphas straight down to the page. And those, I believe, are the Pink Paisley, Paige Evans thickers. I can't remember what they're called. Can't remember it all. If you want to know, I can go and get the package for you. Those little minis. There's the gold on one side and the copper on the other. She also has the other gorgeous ones that are the same size that came in the Whimsical collection that are the rainbow coloured on one side and sort of that whitey, greyy, silvery colour on the other side. I love these tiny thickets. I just find them so good for subtitles and things like that. So that is all stuck down. All my photos are stuck down. All my headings are stuck down. And I'm just having a look at the last few bits and pieces of ephemera I might want to pop on to finish up the layout. And it is almost done. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. From what started off as a really big challenge for me, how am I going to use up all of the frames, this is going to be impossible, this is going to be so hard, to, wow, I'm so happy with how this turned out. I think that that's a really exciting moment. Often for myself, if I set myself challenges, I find it really difficult to create a layout that I actually like. I tend to create a layout that looks sort of thrown together or looks, I don't know, looks wrong, looks bitsy. So I'm really excited that this actually worked. That's my mum's hand. I don't have 3 hands. She was over while I was just finishing up the last bit, sticking on my rhinestones. They're all sort of leftover rhinestones there. I'm trying to use up a bit of my stash. I'm not happy with the way I have my rhinestones and enamel dots sorted. So these were all the loose ones in the bottom of the container that I'm just trying to finish off and use up. Mum's just asking me questions about what I did and how I did it. Mum's a scrapbooker too. She actually is the one that sort of got us starting on scrapbooking, but all of our styles are really quite different, Katie, Mum and I. So maybe that will be a special feature that we do one day. We'll have the 3 of us scrapbook, and so you can see all the different ways we create our own layouts. So anyway, I am almost finished, just popping on the last of these rhinestones. Thanks for sticking around and watching this layout. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next time. Bye everybody, thanks for watching.